Sitges is a Spanish town on the northeastern coast of Spain. It's incredibly picturesque, but don't be fooled by this quaint atmosphere. Sitges has a rich cultural heritage, and right now it's August and the Festa Major. Stay tuned for incredible fireworks, dancing giants, castles, fire-breathing beasts, and so much more. If you don't know us, I'm Rachel, the Burnt Ones Wills, and we are Postcard and a Pint. Now tell us where you are.
We're at the Festa Major!
Then run away. But stop, rewind, and let's start at the beginning. We arrived on the Tuesday of the Festa Major week, and all was calm and quiet. The Spanish monarchs are already in place, eagerly awaiting their parades. As are the American giants and Drac the Dragon. Now all everyone needs to do is rehearse. What have you found at the bottom of your street, Rach? Some traditional folk dancers getting in a cheeky practice. You work those ribbons, my son. Excellent work, chaps. What's next? I hear drumming. These drummers will accompany the devils and the beasts in the forthcoming parades. It's quite the practice spot and very atmospheric already. The anticipation for the festa is beginning to build. And we can't wait to see what's next. Night! On the Wednesday, we attended a concert in the El Retiro Gardens. How's it going?
It's not going very well.
First off, they had sound problems. And when they did get underway, it seemed to be the local Amdram Society miming to old songs. It might be a Spanish thing, and we probably missed the point completely, but we just didn't get it. Wills?
I don't want to be horrible, but it's really bad.
But other people enjoyed it, and art is subjective after all. But we left and went for tapas in El Cable. And very nice it was too. Next we headed to the churches of Sant Bartomeu and Santa Tecla. These are the patron saints of Sitges. The August celebration of the Festa Major is dedicated to Sant Bartomeu. This ceremony seemed to give medallions out to those who were to carry the effigy St Bartomeu this year. Jim has fixed it for you. And you. And you. And if non-UK friends have no idea who Jim is, Google Jim will fix it, and then clear your hard drive. Right, we've got a saint to move. To some very jingly music. Sant Bartomeu is then taken from the Church of St Bartomeu and accompanied by people in national dress and musicians, he's then paraded through the streets. Sant Bartomeu, or Bartholomew in English, is the patron saint of leatherworkers, bookbinders, plasterers, butchers, tanners and shoemakers. He was skinned alive for spreading his faith, which sounds nasty. Thankfully, his destination today is the chapel at the Hospital of St Joan here in Sitges, so he should be okay. We followed the parade through the streets of Sitges, thoroughly enjoying the atmosphere. We followed until he made his way into the underpass. Night for now, Sant Bartomeu. We'll come and catch you at the hospital tomorrow. We had another event to attend tonight. No, not Drac the Dragon, the Castell practice. The Castell is a human tower, built traditionally at festivals in Catalonia. A castell, meaning castle, is considered a success when assembly and disassembly can be done in complete succession. At the top of the towers are very small children, who don't seem to have fear anywhere in their DNA. Well done, kids. We'll see you guys in Capdevila tomorrow, without your safety nets. Now, Sitges show band in your outdoor concert. Play us a cheesy tune. Yes, this is more like it. What did we think of that? No need for sarcasm. Morning! It's Thursday, and the business part of the festival is drawing ever nearer, and we're off to the hospital to visit Bartomeu. We've been following a lot of the build-up ready for the Festa Major. As you saw last night, we saw the saint come out of the church and parade through the streets, and this is where they took him to. This was a really moving display. Patients from the hospital were being brought down to the chapel to visit and pray to the icon. All across the parade route, you'll see people taping their windows, and you'll see why later. I just played with the dog, though.
This is Levels. This is Levels. So beautiful.
He was, and can we just say, dogs in Sitges are not afraid of fireworks. Next, it was the dressing of the Moorish giants. Although the Saint's Day of Sant Bartomeu on August the 24th has been celebrated here since 1595, it's only in the latter part of the 19th century that this festival has begun to take shape. These giants stand at about 5 metres high, and getting them ready for parade is quite the ritual. Old and young come together to help assemble these huge towering figures. Ooh, I wouldn't go underneath a gentleman's. Oh, then again, this is Sitges. Anything goes. With the king of the Moors all ready, it was time for the queen. It is somewhat undignified having your boobies filmed by 100 smartphones, but these giants symbolise the essence of community, tradition and celebration, so get your baps out, love. In no time at all, the queen was soon ready. Then she was off to join her fella at Placa l'Ajuntament. This is one of the beasts, a liga, or the eagle. Now that all of the giants and beasts were ready for action, they were displayed in the town hall, and their crews then posed for a well-earned photo. In you go, Mr. Moore. In you go, Mrs. Moore. We'll see you all tomorrow. All that's left to do is to go out into the streets and drink beer. Make sure your windows and signs are all covered up. Buy the obligatory Festa Major t-shirt. Wills went for that one. Then we went back to the church and stuck our heads in to catch a bit of delivery of the flag. But then it was home to bed. We've a big old day tomorrow. Morning! It's Friday, and today is a huge day in the Festa Major. We'd come to Capdevila to watch the entrance of the grallers. Even Jesus was there. Now, a gralla is a traditional double reed instrument from Catalonia with quite a distinct sound. They were ready. The mad American with the doll was ready. And Rach and Wills were ready. Let's growl. There were a fair few sets of grallers, all playing traditional tunes. Well done. Now the Spanish bob their hats whilst at the Festa Major. But what about strange Americans? Well, they filmed their incredibly creepy doll watching the grallers. We were dying to ask, but didn't. So hat bobbing or strange dolls? You decide. Next up, we had a gralla band. Playing the Festa Major's greatest hits by the sound of it, eh, Wills? There was hat bobbing aplenty. And we loved it. They carried on growling for a while, but we decided to head down to the front for some food and some sustenance. After all, we'd need all the energy we could get for this epic day. The parade was getting ready, and at this point there were two events on at the same time. Wills wanted to see the 21 mortars, and I wanted to see the sardanas dancing. So we split up. Wills went down to the beach, and I headed back to Capdevila to get my seat at the edge of the band. Then at 2 p.m. on the dot, the first mortar was fired. Today, the mortars were being fired by residents, workers and volunteers of the Sitges Hospital to celebrate the institution's 700th anniversary. Then, on the third mortar, the music began. With mortars ringing in the air and traditional music playing, people joined together and began to dance the sardana. The sardana is a circle dance from the northeast of Spain. It represents qualities that Catalans hold dear, such as harmony, democracy, brotherhood and a national identity. It was wonderful to see all ages dancing together, from the older generations to the teens and children. It was incredibly moving, and you can't help thinking that if life was more like this festa, there wouldn't be all these terrible stories in the news of knife attacks and crime. People here are happy and welcome everyone to celebrate their heritage. The UK could learn a lot from Spain. The church bells were ringing out, signifying that the mortars had all been fired. It was time for the sardanas to come to a close and the first parade to begin, and for Wills to try and find me. Wish him luck. Now, the streets in the old town are very narrow. Throw in a few thousand people eagerly awaiting a parade. Yep, Wills got stuck. Then add in some 5-metre-high giants into the mix, it soon became apparent that Wills would be watching the first part of the parade in the narrow streets. Good luck to you, my son. After the Spanish giants come the American giants. These giants celebrate the trade routes opening up with America during the 19th century. Next, it's the Moorish giants. We saw this pair getting dressed yesterday. Next come the big heads. Now, these are all probably famous people, but we don't know, so we called them Worried Joe, the Toby Jugs, Graham Souness, Mrs Souness, Barry Plotter, Tony, as he reminds us of our neighbour, Tony, Usain Bolt, he's very quick, Goldilocks and her Elfie. We can't tell you what we call him, but that's Mr Bean. Groucho Marx, Sharon, Johnny Depp and Winona, the Devil, a Dragon, Uncle Peter, and Pete Salmon. So being stuck in a small street for that part had been fine. Next for the devils and the fire-breathing beasts. Good luck, Wills. Yep, they casually light fireworks in the streets and spray the crowd. Are you having fun, Wills? Nope, he was at the Growlers this morning, opposite the creepy American. The devils and beasts parading straight after the monarchs show a theatrical presentation of evil after good. This whole section of the parade has such a tribal feel to it. Next, down this very narrow street, comes Drac, the dragon. It's a good job everyone taped up their windows, eh? Here in Spain, it's a festa. Back in the UK, we call this legal action. Next comes the eagle, having his picture taken, and then spraying the crowds with fire. How's life in Capdevila H? Ah, you're at the dancing giant part. How lovely. A quick dance by the Americans, then the Moors. Ah, look, it's the Tobys and Worried Joe. Now, Rach, are you going to be mega brave on your raised platform and film some epic fire shots? That'll be a no then. I'm either not as brave as Wills or as stupid as Wills. You decide. But I'm just saying, I don't currently have burns all down my arms. I did find a nice big fella to hide behind, and using him as a shield, I popped out now and again to take some shots. I didn't join in on the hat bobbing though. That bad boy was staying firmly on my head. Around now, Wills found me, just in time for the folk dances. These dances are so energetic, and everyone was really enjoying the vibe they brought. Then a child all dressed in white is carried atop of one of the folk dances. After this dance, the spoken word of the Festa Major is given. enjoying yourself, Rach?
We're having quite the time. As you saw, we went to see the Giants get dressed last night. That was a little bit claustrophobic for me. Then today we've seen the entrance of the Growlers, which was brilliant, into Capdevila, and our first parade. Fantastic.
OK, the parades do leave a bit of a mess in the streets. But within half an hour of the parade finishing, a trusty little street sweeper comes along, and then you'd never have known it had happened. Well, apart from the tinnitus and third-degree burns to your body. But still, good job. The folk dancers and spoken word artists then put on another display. We did stick our heads in for a bit. But one crack of his big old whip, and we were out of there. That's enough spoken word for us. We've another event to attend. Rach?
Now it's time for some castles, or human towers.
We'd watched practice last night. Now for the real thing. They started small, with just a 4-man high. Go on, kids. Now, disassembling the castle can be really tricky and one of the most dangerous parts, but they made it look easy. It was a successful casting. Excellent work. They next went for a more impressive castle, which I filmed as a time-lapse. Enjoy! This castle is now 5 people high, and this small child has to go to the top, climb over the other small child, and raise their arm for it to count. Good girl. You're bonkers, the lot of you. Moving on. Now remember, Bartomeu is still at the hospital. It's time to go and get him back. Complete, of course, with the entire parade all over again. Evening, Mr. and Mrs. Moore. Elfie, Tony, and... ooh, is that Graham Souness? Jeez. Next, it's the fire. OK, so Wills hasn't learnt his lesson about not playing with fire, but at least he's now wearing earplugs. This is the Chief Devil, and possibly the coolest guy in the parade. And if you shimmy as the eagle passes, the sparks fall off. Time for some more folk dancing. But this time, at the end of the parade is Sant Bartomeu. Take it away.
And that was the civic parade.
You'd think that after all those events, that would be it for the night. But this is the night of the huge firework display. And
We're waiting for the fireworks.
the beach is packed. Let's go. If you've ever been to a firework display in the UK, then this is next level. Nowhere does fireworks like Spain. Enjoy. We'd managed to get right to the water's edge, and seeing the reflection in the sea was magical. The display lasts for about 25 minutes and lights not only the sea, but the churches too. Amazing. Now it's the end of what has been a long but brilliant day, and we'd enjoyed every second.
That was so good.
Wasn't it?
So home to bed with your t-shirt in tatters. Surely you're allowed a lie-in tomorrow. What'd you say, Rach?
Morning.
What? It's 6 a.m. on a gorgeous Saturday in Sitges. What on earth did the Spanish do? All right, the parade again. Great. Yes, after drinking beer most of yesterday, twirling 5-metre giants about, these crazy people get up at 6 a.m. and do it all again. Complete with fire, of course. Isn't that right, lad? We managed to catch some of the folk dancing from the air, but both in the streets and in the air, it was smoking. Remember all those people partying on the beach gone midnight last night? Today it's as clean as a whistle. Well done, Sitges clean-up team. At 10:30 a.m, there was another ceremony in the church, but we gave this one a miss and headed to Cinema Prado Gardens for some musical entertainment. Tequila. There was to be one last parade that night. One last Castell for everyone to enjoy, and plenty of music and dancing. As this parade takes hours, we grabbed some dinner and then found a seat in a bar along the front to watch. Cheers! As this was to be the last time, the energy was sky high. A high five from Mini Drac and top dancing Tony. Once again, Wills went and played with fire, and I drank sangria. I think you'll find the stupid one is Wills. Isn't that right, Chief Devilman? The atmosphere was incredible. Unlike the UK, there were no idiots spoiling it for others. It was just everyone having a brilliant time. You go, girls. And who've you found, Wills? Drac. And of course you're going to stand right underneath him. I mean, what's another ruined t-shirt and another 5 burns on your arms between friends? But in all fairness, lad, great shots. Once the parade had passed us by, it was up to the church for the last dances. Now I'd like to say that we both moved to the church and saw all of the last dances, but I'm far too old now, so I went to bed and left Wills to party with the kids. Yeah, okay, that sounds all shades of wrong. He filmed the kids for YouTube. No, still doesn't sound any better. Basically, he got to see all of the parade again and play with yet more fire. To be fair to you, Wills, you got some cracking shots. Now, how's your arm? Burnt. Idiot. There was plenty of hat bobbing. Each folk dance group got to do their entire dance in front of the church. And this time, the child in white got to speak. Finally paraded into the square in style is the icon of Sant Bartomeu. Once he's back in the church, there are a few more fireworks. Then it's time for bed, right? Wrong! Now it's time for the last dance of the beasts. You know, those beasts that started all this malarkey at 6 a.m. this morning. You get in there, Wills. What's another burn between friends, eh? And of course, the eagle has a last dance. 2 streets away, I managed to sleep through this, but not Wills. He's out there with the party people tonight. Now you're thinking it's time for bed. You think wrong. Now each set of giants gets to do their own dance. Amidst much hat bobbing and partying. Please don't try to lift any girls, Wills. You'll put your back out, lad. Then, when the last dance is danced, finally, it's time to put the giants away. Considering you've been up since 6 and have pretty much drunk beer since then too, you're looking remarkably fresh, lads. Bye, Spanish Queen. See you next time. Bye, Spanish King. You've done an awesome job. Night-night, Drac. You're looking a bit burnt around the chops there. I think you're going to need a repaint before next time. Same goes for you, Mr. Eagle. And the hero of today has to be Wills. So we'll let him say the last few words. Take it away, you sweaty, burnt one.
And that's the end of the Festa Major.
Cheers for that, lad. And if you've enjoyed Sitges and want to see more of this stunning place, tune in next week when we'll be taking a look at the town itself. How to get here, where to eat and drink, the beaches, what there is to see and do, and so much more. We've been Postcard and a Pint. Cheers for watching. Adios.
My 4-year-old nephew is learning Spanish, but he's not very good. He doesn't even know the word for please.
Really?
Yeah, and that's por favor.
Oh.